Good morning, familia. Happy Saturday. Y'all throw some ones in the chat if you've been having a good morning thus far. Y'all put some twos in the chat if you're just waking up and you're getting your morning started. Either or, we're happy to have you on. Honestly, if you're tuning in, either live or via the recording, this is our TGF Book Club, man. We do this every Saturday morning. Really have a space to really collectively come together, learn and grow and develop through books written by individuals in different areas, whether it be finances, spirituality, emotional, business, skill sets, whatever the case might be. Every book that is in line is designed to help you guys really collapse your time frames and understand some key principles that if you apply them in your life can actually make the change and get you closer to the goals that you set while you got started here. So I love this call. We've been doing it now for almost over 2 years straight, every Saturday morning, growing and learning together. So I'm grateful to be doing it with you guys. As y'all know, or if you are new to Squad, what's up, John? Welcome to the call, bro. We are reading The Power of One More by Mr. Ed Mylett. So we are covering over chapters 6, 7, and 8 today. We've been covering the book for the past now 3 weeks, including this one, and I'm excited to hear everybody's take on it. Just for the sake of time, there's not many people on here currently, so y'all can go as long as y'all want, but if it's over 10 minutes, we're gonna boop boop, let y'all know what's up. But take y'all's time, whatever the case is. Yeah, you'll just talk about the biggest takeaways that you've got from the chapters, and then go ahead and popcorn whoever it is that you want to actually speak next. If you have not started reading yet and it comes to you, then you'll be able to just talk about the biggest things that you've heard from Squad thus far. With that being said, do we have any brave souls to go first? Boop, boop, boop. Over
I can
six.
go first.
You got it. Ladies first.
Okay, ladies first. Let's go. Go ahead.
It's just because this one was popping up in my mind because I was re-listening to it last night. I believe it was chapter 6, One More Association. Hold on, I'm getting to my notes. Give me 1 second. But I do remember thinking about how I kept thinking about TGF and how your relationships define you. So chapter 6 is about one more association. You would never outperform your inner circle. So it really just emphasizes the power of your environment, the power of the people around you, of your relationships around you, and how they have a big impact on your life. And so the people you spend the most time with are the people who will influence you the most. Focus on relationships. You have a lot more, and you have a lot more. Focus on relationships. You have a lot more control over your peer group. So basically, the reason why this stuck out to me the most is because I kept just thinking about TGF over and over again. And I just kept being really grateful for this community and how the people that we put ourselves around, the environment that we put ourselves around, like really dictate who we become and how we operate ourselves. And I just really love like that first quote that they opened up with, that you'll never outwork your inner circle. And I'm just really grateful to be around all y'all because we are some really, really hard workers. So the fact that like we're running with each other and we push each other like to become better every single day really just inspires me and motivates me. And even on the it just reminds me, and even on the times where I'm not really like the best like self-motivated, or I don't I know that I can lean on other people on the team, and I can lean on Squad because their motivation is going to be up there. Their work ethic is going to be up there at the level that I need to push myself to be, or I can push myself to be. So it's really, really exciting. And that was just the one topic I wanted to talk about on chapter 6. Okay, Josh, you next.
First off, good morning. Hope everybody's having a blessed weekend and a great weekend with the utmost energy and just living in a beautiful state. I know I have been since the Tony Robbins seminar, and man, I just feel great every day. Just living in a happy state is awesome because you flush away every negative thought, every negative energy that's out there. And it's really wild that that's exactly what my dad preached. So I've already been doing it, but just at the level that I'm at right now, it's truly amazing and a great feeling. So 100% recommendation. But my takeaway from chapters 6 through 8, uh, I was listening to it just now, just getting a refreshment. He was saying that we all lived when we were when in our childhood, we all had an imagination. And now that we are all grown, nobody dreams or lives in a dreaming state. Nobody imagines anything no more. Our imagination is completely gone. And it seems like we are just stuck in, what's going bad in the world and what's happening and what we want to do instead of living in that dream state, is what he called it. And just dreaming about, what we actually want to achieve and living in it, and just imagining that it's already happened and that it's already there, because within God's power, anything's happening and it's already happened. We just got to keep walking through him and keep walking that path that he's paved for us and the purpose that we have. And we'll get there eventually because it's already been done. So with TGF and the goals that we have, just know that everything's already happened. We just got to keep working. It's not going to come to us. We got to go and get it. But that's just my takeaway, just to, live in a dream state and just keep dreaming, imagining that, I'm already in that life that I want to live, and that I'm already in that car that I want to drive. I'm already in that house that I want to live in. I'm already with my family that I dream of, making and having when I get older, and just having the people around me and living that life already is a blessing. I just know it's going to get a lot better and a lot more blessings are coming. So that's my takeaway. I'll pass it to whoever. Hope y'all have a blessed rest of y'all's weekend. Peace.
There you go. Because DeAndrew's just looking at it. What's up, y'all? Good morning, everybody. Whoa. Good to see y'all. I was kind of recapping what I read and listened to over the week, and going to the association chapter 6 in like just the circle you surround yourself in the environment, and really like get intentional on having those people around that help you grow in all areas of life, and also removing yourself from situations that don't benefit you in whatever area you're trying to grow. And for me, it's definitely been like kind of falling back from like drinking. And so with that, just like having more solidarity and being more in tune with myself. And as I do that, it leads into chapter 7 and 8 and dreaming bigger, and having that imagination, because like Josh was saying, as we were kids, that's something that we did a lot of, and as we get older, we tend to lose our imagination and our dream state because of all the things that we've gone through, that got us here, and we continuously relive our past, and it's like we're in a replay mode of things that don't allow us to dream or imagine bigger, and as well as like life and how um, It might sound very controversial, but if y'all watch Thrive, really talks about how uh, the government and the system that we live in is like generated for us to be programmed, and in that process, in that process, like losing out on dreaming, imagining, and thinking bigger. That's what they want. That's what they don't want us to do. And as you do that, you continue to create a bigger vision and future for yourself. And uh, in that process, life just gets more exciting to live and to wake up. You know, for the longest time, I was like I didn't want, I wanted to sleep all day, and um, and then when I was up, I was not doing what I needed to do to grow. I was constantly reliving that replayed cycle of life, and so getting into chapter 8 and asking ourselves one more question uh, with putting everything together. And I definitely seen this more recently just because as I've been growing, it's like diving into myself and really like attacking myself um, in a positive manner, and getting deep, asking those questions, and like it it doesn't allow you to hide from yourself and others in the things that like your weaknesses and your strengths, and um, being that vulnerable through asking these like deep questions to yourself on like what it is you're thinking, and then your thoughts lead into your emotions, and your emotions lead into your actions. So through that whole process, like I'm consistently catching myself like, well, why did I do that? What was I thinking? What was I feeling? And like going through that thought process, and um in that really just let's see, really just challenging myself to grow and do and be better with asking myself those vulnerable questions, and allowing myself to be open, honest, and transparent with myself. And in that process, getting down to the nitty gritty truth of like, why are you thinking like why are you doing this? Why are you whatever? Like, because we all have our whys, and I think sometimes we get lost in the sauce based off of our associations and our circles, and our our dream and our imagination state, where it is that we're at. Are we constantly living a replayed life in the cycle of what happened in our past, and it's causing us and leading us to think a certain way, act a certain way, and feel a certain way? Um, and in that process, uh, truly just getting getting past those doubts and fears, and it's truly been amazing. And this, so reading these chapters, and seeing how everything um, that I was seeing and doing before, and seeing it all come together, reading these 3 chapters, I was like, whoa, it's great. If you're struggling on different questions to ask yourself, uh, and get really deep within yourself on on your whys and things like that. they have a list of questions, like 40 questions to ask yourself. So if y'all are listening to audio, recommend going and listening back to the different questions he recommends people ask themselves. Or if you're reading the book, take those notes, and I know they can definitely help, because just looking at them and knowing like, yo, these are some deep questions that people don't really ask other people, but and most importantly, they don't really ask themselves. So we'll go ahead and pass this thing to whoever wants to go next.
I'm gonna go. That's cool. Really quickly, I love what Amber touched on for chapter 6. I think we all feel that way on this call. First of all, good morning. Hello. Good morning, family. But yeah, I couldn't agree more with what you talked about. Power of association is everything, right? You are like the 5 people you hang out with the most, and that is a fact. It is not, we hear it all day, every day. So I'm not going to touch on chapter 6. What I am going to touch on is, y'all tell me why I threw on my glasses like they're my reading glasses, because these are just the blue light. I'm a fool. But anyways, chapter 7, you guys, for me was like crazy good. Throw a 2 in the chat if you agree, because like, I know I've heard this before in some different format, but when I read this, like, whoa, he said, when you fill the glass to the rim of your past, it's impossible to fill it with anything else until you empty the glass. So no matter how hard you try, making peace with your past is how you empty it, right? So you got to release your past so you can make room for your future, right? For your dreams. Give me a second, y'all. My dog, she's on one. Go outside. Go outside, bitch. Outside. And that for me was like, whoa, because self-sabotage, like I do it all the time. And I was like, I felt supported, like when I was reading that, because I'm like, man, like I thought about like what's held me back with some of my goals this year, right? Just as I was writing my goals like a month ago, and I was like, man, what held me back for this, right? And the only thing that made me think about that was like chapter 8, the power of one more question, where you're like, where he goes, do you ever think about what you think about? And I was like, damn, I don't. I mean, I guess I do, right? But like, do you really think about what you think about? And it goes, and it in chapter 8 flows so beautifully from chapter 7, because just to kind of circle back, think about what's been holding you back from like getting better, right? Like if it was like, I want to join the gym, or I want to like start my e-commerce store, right? But I'm not seeing the results I want, right? Like, are we making excuses? Like, do we have like the accountability partners? Or is it deeper than that? Like self-identity? Like, is it that, have you been believing what other people said about you, or what you believe of yourself based on your past experiences, like barriers that we just don't see? And man, like awareness is so huge, right? And I feel like I'm a pretty aware person, but reading this, it was like, boop, 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 like a slap, like to myself, where I was like, man, I've been making like a lot of excuses based on like where we naturally go, which is our habitat of like, that's where I was, And so your thoughts and the words that you come, and the actual words that come out of your mouth, it's a direct reflection of your past. So be aware and change that. That's what I'm gonna focus on this year. Is I'm gonna just try to focus on like if you're really close to me, you know that like I talk about my schedule out loud, because like I'm just talking about what I got to do and like what needs to get done, and like it's kind of helps me like move through the day. That works for me. I have it written in paper, I have it on the fridge, whatever. But I'm like holding myself accountable as I'm doing that, because it'd be the same 24 hours in a day that we all have to get the same shit done. So like we really just, what are we setting up for ourselves, that was my biggest takeaway. That was so huge. And I just needed to read that in that moment. And I know I heard it too many times this year, but it really, really, really stuck. And yeah, just think about like the questions that you're asking yourself on like an everyday basis where, I said, like, are you becoming that person, Michelle? Like, what are your goals? Okay, but are you becoming that person? What does that even mean? Like, what does that person even look like? Like, I went down to like, I drew that person out, right? Like, this is how I see myself and this is how I want it. Like, that self-identity is so crucial, man. Because ain't nobody else gonna keep you accountable the way you're gonna keep yourself accountable. And that's all self-love, man. That shit is deep, y'all. Like, excuse my language, And so I just want to know, like, if you guys need an accountability partner, let me know. I'm not perfect. And that for me is like those are my accountability partners. I know they're not perfect, right? And like, we're going to shoot together. Like, I want to know that like, yo, did you do what you needed to do? No, cool. Then what are we going to do to get it done tomorrow? Like, this ain't no like perfect stuff. And so if you guys need an accountability partner, whether it's now, whether it's the first of the year, I don't really care. Shoot me a text, call me, send me a voice message. Hey, yo, like I need an accountability partner for XYZ. Awesome. Like, let's do it. But let's like really, really try to keep each other accountable. Like, we can like send each other pictures or whatever, but like let's make it fun, but I love you guys. This book is so good. I'm so glad that like we're reading this at this time at the end of the year. And I love y'all so much. But anyways, I'm gonna pick D'Angelo because he's in the gym. My guy is killing it, by the way. Like yesterday, I was on the phone with Dylan, and I was like, babe, remember when D'Angelo was getting clowned on because he was like skipping leg day? Not no more, because your boy, I seen your legs, my guy. I was like, let's go. And Dylan's like, I need to get in the gym with the boys because Dylan works out. He started working out at this like bodybuilding gym out here. I don't even know where it's at. He's like, babe, the machines. And I'm like, bro, I go to Fitness Connection and I just do me, right? But he's like, babe, like this, that, and the third. And I'm like, babe, talk to the boys about that. Cause like, I don't care. I don't know. That's not my world, And then I saw like your post and I was like, let's go, bro. Like, I'm so proud of you, dude. Seriously. You're freaking killing it. So anyways, I love you guys. I went too long. But I'm gonna pick on you, D.
Appreciate you. I was looking at my peoples because he would always count on my legs. But no, yeah, I love leg day
I guess
champ.
all
But
love, bro. All love, bro. I'm proud of you.
I know. But I won't go too deep on chapter 6 just because I feel like we already covered that one a lot. But little perspective that I kind of thought of was like movies and like how documentaries about people, like how they changed their life and everything, and how they came either from the hood, they came from gang life, they came from drugs, and it all got to like one certain point that changed their life. And if they're in a gang, what do they do to stop being in a gang? Is they stop hanging around gang members. If they got drug addiction, what do? They either go to rehab or they stop hanging around druggies. And that's either gonna break or not break, change their friends, or who they call friends, their opinions and like what they think about you. And you're either gonna lose them or they're gonna either respect you a lot more for making that change in your own life. And I forgot what he said about that, but he was like about rejection and acceptance. Like you can reject a friendship, or you can reject something. I did not write it down because I was just listening to it, and but he said something about that. I mean, I like how he broke down the type of relationships, and then how you're like the center point, aka like the bullseye, and you kind of like define and like your life and who you're surrounded with. So I didn't get to chapter 8, but I did listen to chapter 7, and I have a few notes. You did say one of them, Michelle, which was the one I was really wanting to talk about, but you hit it on the nail, so I'm not really gonna go too deep into that one. But I have one where it says it's not your future you are afraid of, it's the past that makes you anxious and scared of your dreams. And then he says, oh, I said it this morning in the message, but I'll say it one more time. Embrace your future, fill your glass with your vision and your possibilities instead of thoughts that no longer serve you. And kind of what you said, Michelle, about um it's your past that, or like you gotta accept your past to move on and accept your future, but it's not like just talking about like how you said like achieving your goals and like how your childhood was and stuff like that. It's talking also about like what happened yesterday or what happened last week or what happened last month. And you know, when every time we hop on calls, like, or another day goes by where it's like saying like, even Josh said it, like ever since that event he went to, and you know how we say one the call that you missed is the call you need the most, or even though you're listening to this call, it might hit you a little different and it might change that switch for you. And you know that can happen with anybody. And taking it back like to the, let's say, the network marketing part, like even though like, because I haven't been inviting a lot recently at all. And uh like our leaders Marcus and Donnie always tell me like, you can like why are you not inviting? You can say, oh, I already went through the list. But they always say like, well, just go over that list again, because you never know, that person that you reached out yesterday might have had a flip in their switch flip today, and then they might be looking for something. And you, since you reached out to them yesterday, they didn't have that right mindset, or they didn't weren't looking for something, but now something happened in their life that we don't know about. But you, that message you sent out, even if it's like, hey, keep doing what you're doing. I'm proud of you. Like simple messages like that can go a long way to people, even outside of the business. And it's just like, I don't know, accepting like your past and not blaming it so much, but like finally accepting it. And people just need to, including myself, just like move on from it because it already happened. The only thing we can do about it now is complain about it. And complaining about it really does nothing for you. That's kind of where I'm at in like my past life, where it's like I keep saying like, I already did this, I done that, where this happened, and I don't want to do that. But tomorrow is not yesterday, or today is not yesterday. That does not mean just because yesterday was a bad day, you're gonna have a bad day today, and stuff like that. So it's just like a little change of perspective and kind of how you gotta live in your future, and just forgive your past and accept it. And that was the biggest message you kept saying in chapter 7, was accepting your past. You can live in your future. But I'm gonna listen to chapter 8 after this. We didn't get off this call because I was listening to it like for probably like 5 minutes of it, and then we hopped on the call. But I love y'all. I think Kayla, Tia, Marquitos, Kelsey, and John. I don't know, John, if you read it, but if you have, you're more than welcome to take the floor. If not, anybody else, go hit like day. Love y'all.
Yo, y'all scared? Y'all scared to speak or
Josh
what?
is just on us today, man. Don't
Come
even give me
on
2
now.
seconds to click the unmute. Holy smokes.
It was 4 seconds.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Girls.
Jeez, they just on us today. No, good morning, fam. Michelle, I love exactly what you said. Obviously, chapter 6, I was on the same boat with Amber, thinking about TGF and thinking about, I really liked in chapter 6 how it broke down like the bullseye, and just kind of going back towards that, and really looking at like my own life and how I've had to like kind of maneuver people around, and the people who, maybe were once super close, or like I worked super close with, who now it's like, they're on an outer ring of the bullseye. And me, like I'm a Pisces, like, so I always like felt really bad like doing that. It's like I wanted, you know, if you're close to me, I want to keep you close to me as much as I can. But after reading that, you know, it just kind of solidified that like it's okay. That's life and that's how things go. Just because, you know, people move around you know, within your proximity circles and stuff, doesn't mean you can't love them any less. It's just, you know, with where you're trying to go personally. I don't know why I'm losing my voice today. It's probably the snow, Marky. But just kind of reminding myself that like it's okay to, you know, not have people as close to you as they once were. But chapter 7 was a really big one for me, especially this past week for the holidays. I love that like the chapter started with like talking about kids, because I mean, I know I did it as a kid, but like I saw a couple of my cousins doing it this weekend, where you give them a freaking box and 10 minutes later it's a spaceship that is on the moon. And you know, like just the capacity that they use their imaginations is, you know, beyond what we do. And I don't remember what page it was on, but it says, you know, they live in the here and now because they don't have a past. They don't think about their past. And it's like, even though we do, not letting that consume you, and, you know, letting it be what it is, and accepting it, working through it if it needs to be worked through. But you know, the analogy of the cup is, you know, not filling it with the regrets or, you know, the constant thoughts of the past, just so you can make room to keep dreaming and keep progressing throughout you know, what we want to do. And I highlighted down here, to live a better life, we must consciously choose to operate out of our dream state and not our past. And then quick on chapter 8, I thought it was really cool how literally, I think it was like 2.5 pages, almost 3 pages, full of just different questions to ask yourself. You know, I've heard about, you know, this technique before of having to you know, ask yourself the right questions, but I never knew where to start. So when I was reading through this, and it literally gives you 41 different questions, I'm definitely gonna go and, you know, write those down and answer each one of those for myself. But yeah, it's just crazy that a lot of people don't even ask themselves the questions. They don't ask anything. They just kind of accept the day and accept the situation for what it is. But yeah, and then just to end it off, I just highlighted, you know, the greatest gift is not being afraid to ask the questions. And then the people who don't, they just assume defeat and can't apply, you know, the logic to the solutions that is needed. But yeah, I'm loving this book. Like I said, I started reading it not as thoroughly as I am now, but super excited to finish the rest. So Kayla, I don't know if you're able to share, otherwise Marky can take it. Otherwise, I think everybody else is gone. I know I saw that John said he didn't read, so he's just listening. But what'd you say? Tia, Mikhail?
She's not here. She got on. She
I
wasn't.
don't see Tia on here, but
She was.
Mikhail or Kayla, do y'all want to go or no? Going once and going twice. All right, sold to Marcus Rivera out in Austin, Texas, 26 years young, doing the dang thing. What's poppin'? Hello, fam. Bro, these chapters were extremely powerful and was a great reminder of a lot of the stuff that I've been learning over the course of the years. And I'm not gonna touch too much on chapter 6 because a lot of people have touched on it. But as we know, association is absolutely everything. And what I've seen really work in my life, and when I saw the value of my life increase, was when I was okay with people no longer being in it. I'm very much a yellow. I love all my people and I always want to take them with me, but I have come to learn the hard way that not all lifelong friends and family members end up being in your inner circle. And that's okay. You know what I'm saying? I think that the biggest thing that honestly stood out to me is that everything has an expiration date, so you have to continuously be prepared for the change. And when he highlighted that and all bold, you just got to always be mindful that that in every part of your life, people come in it for, he said, a season, a reason, or a lifetime. And that is dependent on what values you hold and what type of standards you want to be held in your life. So just being mindful that he had wrote Benjamin Franklin said, be careful when choosing a friend, be more careful when changing a friend. And I know that the people who, like, this is something that I've always had to remind myself, but the people who got me to where I'm at are not going to always be the people that get me to where I'm going. And just fully being accepting and understanding that those boundaries of those rings leading to the bullseye yourself are blurry and vague, and people move in and out of it depending on what life you want. You've got to audition the people who get closest to you. So that is something that I'm still learning and developing. I think one of the big things he said is, like, as a recommendation, the high level qualities to consider as you make your decisions. I'm just going to read this because I think everybody should be mindful of it. If you haven't read, thank Ed Mylett, not me. Okay, so the people in your inner circle should have a fully developed sense of emotional maturity. They need to be steadying influences who are happy and highly productive. They must be loyal and make rational decisions based on reason instead of impulse. I think that last part is super imperative because most people react instead of respond, and that requires you to process your emotions and reason what it is you're going to do versus just acting on first thought or intellect. So one, being able to recognize that in others requires you to first practice it yourself. So just be mindful, like if you're associating and wanting to gain better association, you yourself have to get better. Otherwise, you're going to continue attracting so just be mindful of who's around you. And if you want different, get around different, grow into different, and attract better. So that's what I got from chapter 6. Chapter 7, super powerful. Especially because dreaming is free. I think the biggest thing that I put together through majority of the chapter is you first need awareness, acceptance, and acknowledgement. I'm super excited for the book Power of Awareness that we're going to be reading, I think, going into the new year. Honestly, being aware is the first step, and it's majority of the time the most difficult to understand because, like he was saying, a lot of the stuff that we do is extremely unconscious. And as Kelsey was saying, we must consciously choose to operate out of a dream state instead of out of our past. What that means is that you have to continuously think about what it is. You have to continuously think about and acknowledge what it is you need to be aware of. And then you've got to consciously let go of that past over and over and over again until the conscious decision becomes unconscious. And that becomes your new state of being. The reason why it's so difficult, and he wrote it here. Let me make sure I find it real quick. The reason why it's so difficult is because hold on, where do you write it? One sec. I just had it, bro. Hold on. is that we essentially have the patterns that in our thought processes that develop into habits that have been ingrained unconsciously for a long period of time. And what I wanted to touch on was what honestly Michelle talked about with the glass being full of your past and making peace of it. How you empty the glass and create room for your dreams in your future with the peace. So if you're like me, I struggled with that for a long time. And the way that I visualized pouring out the glass of my past is like I literally gave the glass to God and I let him pour it for me. Because sometimes, like he was saying with the cement bags, we like to hold on to things because it's just the norm of what it is that we've always done, right? But what I loved about the visualization part is like, because we're a faith-based community that honestly wants to integrate all aspects of it. Like, bro, y'all talk with God and ask him to help you pour the glass out. And like visualize yourself giving it to him and then let him pour it out with and for you. And if you do that, you'll make room for the things that he wants, and you'll be able to be blessed with a peace that transcends all understanding. I don't know how else to explain it other than I've been able to get the peace that I've needed. And it took me accepting that I already had it. And I had to acknowledge and become aware of where I was holding on to the parts of myself that I wasn't letting go of. And that part honestly made all the difference in terms of getting to where I'm going. So continuously giving yourself the permission to dream and thinking bigger and doing more one more time honestly allows the vision to really come to fruition because you're continuously operating out of it versus operating on what you see. So he talks about always operating out of vision, out of dreams, and out of your imagination. So keep doing it. And then last one more question to ask yourselves. I think the biggest thing that I honestly read first when I was in college was that the unexamined life isn't worth living. So if you haven't examined your life or thought about it, then you're wasting it. That's my opinion. But anyways, he says asking the right questions is the first step to getting the answers you need to make that happen, aka the dramatic changes you want to have in your life. Getting answers removes roadblocks that help you create change. And I think the biggest thing that I was reminded of is in the Bible. The answer to have the one thing you need to do to actually get the life that you truly want, biblically speaking, is ask. Ask, and you shall receive. Seek, and you shall find. Knock, and the door will be open to you. And one of the acronyms that I use for myself for the word ask is applied, skills, and knowledge. So whenever you ask God for the answer, or you ask a mentor for some guidance, or you ask a professional for some advice, it's cool if you have the answer and it can literally essentially remove the roadblock you're looking for. But if you do not apply the skills and the knowledge that you gain from asking those questions, then no change will occur, because to know and to not do is to not know at all. And I really love the aspect of like, y'all just got to be willing to ask yourself, ask other people, and ask God for the life that you want most. And he'll literally show you, man. I just want to remind you guys that everything that we're reading and everything that we're doing, from Bible study to book club to studying our skill sets to building our businesses, like they're not separate. And I think a lot of people get it twisted. Like, okay, I'm at the gym now, I got to be gym head. Or I'm at work now, I got to put on my work hat. Or I'm building my business, I got to put on my business hat. Or now I'm actually reading the books, I got to put on my student hat. And what God asks us to do is to be entirely whole throughout every aspect of our lives, not be parts of ourselves in different aspects of our lives. And if you learn how to actually pull the pieces and parts together while you're reading these things and while you're learning what steps you need to take, while you're asking the questions, while you're continuously aiming to dream, and while you're looking to get around higher caliber people and attract those individuals in your life that are going to take you to that next level, you've got to understand and recognize that It requires everything that the book already talked about, everything that you've been learning about in cooperation with one another, not in separate pieces. In other words, what you guys are gaining by learning this information, by reading the books, by doing the practices are like pieces of the puzzle. The pieces of the puzzle make absolutely no sense separate from one another. But when you put the pieces of the puzzle together, that's when you see the entire picture form. And I think for the longest time, I would barely read or I would participate and hop on all the calls, but I myself was not putting the pieces of the puzzle together. I was just gathering the pieces. And I was confused as to why I wouldn't gain any traction or have any difference. So as you guys move forward, I think like for me, I think the biggest thing that I enjoy about this book is that it allows you to understand that like, okay, if you're not perfect at doing it and you haven't started, the best place you can do or the best thing you can do is start. And then secondly, if you have started, the best thing you can do is continuously keep going. The last thing I really want to say is that reframing your entire mindset is not a subtle action. It requires concentrated effort for an extended period of time to break pre-existing ingrained thought habits. One more time, I want to leave y'all with that because no one's talked about it. And it's honestly one of the biggest things that if you understand, you will literally apply because you know, all right, I just got to apply the continuous effort over a period of time. Reframing your entire mindset is not a subtle action. It requires concentrated effort for an extended period of time to break pre-existing ingrained thought habits. The path that you guys are on, the path that you chose to really walk on is not easy. And there's a reason why most people don't do it. If it was easy, everybody would change their life and live a life of abundance. They don't. So if you're choosing that route, accept that, acknowledge it, and then understand that changing your entire thought process to change who you are currently takes a pruning process, and it's not easy. It's not comfortable, and it's honestly going to be the most difficult thing that you ever do. I'm still in the process of doing it. You know what I'm saying? So as you're going about it, give yourself some grace and know that, all right, this is hard, but what's easy ain't worth it. And what's worth it ain't easy. So put your head down, really examine and ask yourself the things that you need to apply to actually become the person deserving of the life you want most. And then do those things as best to your ability and lead with love and grace throughout the process. Don't forget to allow God to be in the midst of it because he'll literally make it happen for you. So I love y'all. Thanks for letting me talk your ear off. Hope you got some value from it. Bow. I'll pass this to Kayla or Mikhail, whoever wants to talk about. I don't know if Kayla read. I think we were talking about yesterday, but if you haven't read, girl, you can talk about the biggest takeaway. John, I know you ain't read either, bro, but if you want to unmute yourself and talk about one of the biggest takeaways you got from listening in, Mr. Steele, you can wrap us up. Appreciate y'all.
That man never fails of giving sauce. Whoa.
My guy, I appreciate you.
Is Mentor's Prime asleep or what?
You know what I'm saying? Taylor? John? Anybody? Like Kayla just left. Okay.
Wow.
Okay, John.
Are you texting her?
Nah, this is my work iPad. Everybody should text her.
Everybody
That's
should
funny.
text her and be like,
What's up, my people? Kayla
There
is
he
at
is.
brunch or something with her mother. She hopped off. That's funny.
oh,
She's
she's
like,
at a
hold on.
massage, I think.
Oh, she's at a massage. What's going on, y'all? Good morning. What's up, my people? I opened this thing up and had a family emergency this morning, so my apologies on not being present for this whole call. Literally just came upstairs about 5 minutes or so ago. And whoa, whoa. Remind me, bro, which two are we discussing? I know chapter 6, but is it chapter 5 and 6, or is it 6 and 7?
It is 6, 7, and 8.
6, 7, and 8. Okay, did not get to 8. Definitely slacked, dropped the ball. But 6 and 7, y'all, is whoa. I'm not even gonna lie to you. 7 was what? I'm not even looking at my book right now, and I have it open. 6, 7, and 8. Let me just remind myself because I literally read this thing. So 6, one more association, as Marcus just chopped it up about. I know you guys literally talked it up a lot about chapter 6. So I'm gonna go into number 8. Well, excuse me, I'm sorry, number 7. But all in all, y'all, with the association, with dreams, excuse my son, with association, with dreams, and then also just with auditioning your circle, like asking yourself more questions. Yeah, this whole book has definitely been doing something different to my life. And in the last 24 hours, I've had to ask myself a lot of questions. This morning I woke up and boy, like it's something serious, y'all. I'm not even gonna lie to you. And the emergency that I just had the fire that I've had to put out in my family is honestly taking over my whole brain. So I literally barely even remember like what I read off of this book, and I'm gonna have to reread it. But it's crazy, man. All in all, I am sorry, that I was not able to make this thing. And it's crazy because applying the lessons that I have learned throughout the book, man, I just be literally trying to just do one more prayer, just be there for one more person, and obviously ask intentional questions in the process, and just really like just continue to do one more. And that's a conversation that me and my little brother just had. So to wrap us up, I'm gonna just tell y'all a story about my morning. And it's kind of crazy. So my little brother called me this morning. Dad was tweaking on him. They got into a whole problem. Long story short, my brother is very concerned for his safety. And my father was not being a father today. And in that process, one, I had to just hear my brother out, but then two, I had to really ask him questions. I had to really help him take a deeper look. I had to damn near get into dad mode, take a deeper look into his circle, take a deeper look into his dreams, inspect what he expects as well, and just actually raise his level, raise his vibration. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all, that definitely took a lot out of your boy today, because at times like this in my life, I just really don't want to deal with the uncomfortable situations because of everything else that's going on. But shout out to the power of one more, because you just got to do it one more time. And sometimes the anointing is not only for the blessing, it's for the problem. It's for the uncomfortable situation. And reading this book, it really just let me know, like, all right, let me just give one more prayer to this man. Let me give one more listen to this man. And really let me just chop it up about what life could look like, and actually breaking down these generational curses that we have in our family of anger, of resentment, of just all of the negative emotions that you could possibly imagine. It's crazy, y'all. So truly, I just want to thank you guys for literally being in the background. I was on the Zoom the whole time. I was on the call, just disconnected from the audio. So I couldn't hear y'all, but I could see you guys. And I just want to let y'all know, man, just being able to see what type of environment that we've created, and understanding how much the world actually needs this right here. Aside from just the camaraderie, they also need the information. Like, truly, we're about to hit a whole new level, and I'm about to go on one more run. I'm about to have one more dream and awaken one more inside of me, because our people literally need this, and especially my people. And I ain't gonna lie, I ain't been doing the greatest job at bringing them into it over the past year. I've been doing a great job at helping Squad move and groove, but I gotta help my people, man. And that's my one more dream, truly. That's where I'm at in my life right now. Like, I've done a lot, we've been through a lot, we've lived a lot, we've accomplished a lot, but where we are right now is I just want to do it one more time, but this time I want to do it a lot different. And the dream that I have inside of me burns to literally go and break these freaking curses that we have in our family. So that's my wrap up. You know what I'm saying? Real life, man. When it comes to this dream, Marcus, thank you for the conversation that we had last night. Gave me a lot to chew on over the evening. I had a great conversation with Myron Golden watching a podcast last night until like 4 this morning. And y'all, it's crazy, y'all. There is truly a whole different side of life, and just the process that we're all embarking in right now of actively doing the inner work, actively doing just the studying. Like, God calls us to study, to be quiet. He calls us to run our own business. This is literally stuff in the Bible. It's crazy. He calls us to actually just go and serve his people. But in that process, you've just got to go get really good at what you do, really know who you are, and really know your purpose. And with that being said, y'all, I'm just grateful for this, because this is my purpose for sure, to really go and impact people, really go and break curses, really go and have paradigm shifts, help people have paradigm shifts. So I'm excited because it took a second for me to really get back in tune with what was really going to push me into this next level, to go on one more run and to really go after this dream. So I appreciate y'all. Sorry for being everywhere. Sorry for not really covering too much that happened in these chapters and wrapping up. But all in all, I'm going to see y'all next week, be a lot more present. And please do me a huge solid when we all get off this call and just shoot up a prayer for your boy and his family, because we need it over here on the steel side. Definitely. So I love you guys. Marcus, I'm gonna pass it back to you though, bro. If nobody else is actually, just kidding. John, I want to hear you speak, bro. I've been looking forward to meeting you, bro. Welcome to the family. Let's get it, man. So if you want to wrap up everything that you've gained from this call, bro, I'd love to hear it, and what I missed as well, brother. And welcome to the family, for real, for real.
But yeah, John, if you don't mind, bro, mute yourself really quick, just talking about one big takeaway you got from the call. Boop, boop, and we wrap this thing up. I know you didn't read, and that's okay.
Hey, what's up, man? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but yeah, it was pretty interesting joining the call. Sorry, I've just been busy with the calls and everything, so I've been trying to keep up with both things. Um, but it's pretty interesting listening to all of you guys saying about the book and everything. Good it's about like he was saying, like I was saying, just that one more. Uh, but other than that, I mean, I don't have much to say. Um, that it was a pretty good call. It was interesting listening to that. I've definitely got to take a look at that book and catch up with you guys.
Good, brother. We appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? It's good to see you on. I'm glad you were
Yeah.
showing up for yourself. And I look forward to hearing your take next week, bro. So, couple reminders, one being from the book, one I always say, okay? One, as y'all enter into the season where a lot of times, bro, there's a lot of negative thoughts that can creep in your mind in the midst of you going after your dreams, when most of the world is on pause. Okay, so this is what Ed Mylett talked about in One More Dream on page 99. So replace negatives with dreams and visions that are exact, specific, and repetitive. I'll say it one more time. Replace negatives with dreams and visions that are exact, specific, and repetitive. AKA, if you haven't written your dreams out, go do that. And if you have, go read them and actually specifically say it to yourself every day as much as possible. Throw it on a little note card, put it in your pocket, whatever you need to do. But when a negative thought creeps in, read your dream card. If you want to take it a step further, you guys can look up a specific Bible verse or scripture. You can literally Google this, that overcomes negative thoughts or overcomes doubt. You go and look that up. Every time a negative thought or doubt comes and creeps in your head, you can literally just read that Bible verse and remind yourself why you shouldn't feel that way. Okay, so last thing, Replace negatives with dreams and visions that are exact, specific, and repetitive. On the book club, I'm glad you guys showed up. Just remember, your success will only go as far as your personal development. I'm glad you guys are all showing up for yourself despite what you got going on, and that you're making it happen, and that you're doing the best that you possibly can. We are closer than we think. And now more than ever, let's just stay intentional and focused on becoming better for ourselves. I'll take care of me for you, as long as you guys take care of you for me. And I appreciate y'all being a part of a family like this, man. No worries. We love you, Austin. If you're catching the recording, we appreciate you, man. Kelsey just filled us in. Hashtag yo business partner. I love you guys. Appreciate y'all hopping on. As always, we'll see you at the top. The bottom's way too crowded. Next week, chapters 9, 10, and 11. Don't miss it. Be there, be square. Love y'all.